shotgun. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 2 of Chimera, Cape and Blade. Ba-ba-bam! If you watched Season 1, welcome back, and if you haven't, not to worry, as the story will be pretty self-contained. Even though we have some returning characters and some new ones, you should still go watch Season 1, because it's a lot of fun. But we have a great story, and with me, I have a wonderful cast. But before we get to them, hi, I'm Amaraz. I use they, she pronouns. I am your host and the co-designer of Chimera, the game being played here today. And with me are my wonderful cape wielders and sword and blade wearers. We'll go around the table. Angela.
Damn it! The switch hit me right at the end. Hello there, everyone. I'm Angela. I'm going to be playing Yolanda Moraga. We both use she/her pronouns. I am the trans illusionist mage, hopeful, and the learned are my two playbooks. I have switched them around for this season.
Yeah. And also, I don't know what you're talking about. Capes are weapons and swords are for aesthetics. Morgan, introduce yourself.
Well, if there was anyone that could use a cape as a weapon, it would be Gallivander. Um, my name is Morgan, and I use they/them pronouns, and also Gally as well uses they/them pronouns. Gally is a warrior who very much regrets the path they've taken, and is now trying to do better, and is worshiping a nomadic god and wandering the earth as a trying to redeem themselves. You know, just those great, wholesome, happy stories.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. Speaking of wholesome stories and characters, Alex.
Hi there. I'm going to be playing Tamal again this season. I use he, him pronouns, and Tamal uses she, they pronouns, and is a living statue who is a blacksmith and doesn't know what the deal is with her creator, which is potentially something we're going to be following up on this season. And she is the protector and innovator playbooks.
Hey. Awesome, awesome. And last but not least, B, back again. Added their bullshit.
What's up? Yeah, I never quit. Hello, I am B Zelda, and I am joining you today playing... Oh is a water folk. We live in the water, and we are stranded on the surface. But we also have some help. This is our bound familiar. His name is 8. His pronouns are he, him. My pronouns are she, her. And we really just hope to make some friends so we can get out of, the surface and go back and get revenge on that person who destroyed our town and crush all of our enemies. It sounds great.
Right. Is there anything that the audience should know about your little octopus friend, though?
Well, 8 is trying to absorb most of my life essence. You know, it has to do with the pact that I made with my water god. It's a little bit of give and take, so if I get a little woozy and I pass out, it's okay. I just gave up all of my energy for the day.
Yeah, just, normal things.
Yeah.
Hot
but,
them shit,
8 gets really talkative, and that's nice.
Yes, good. Alright. And with that lovely cast all introduced, we are going to launch right back into the fiction. For those who don't know, Chimera does have a world-building phase, and the way this game works is we choose at least 2, if not more genres, and we construct our world from that. The genres for this are superheroes and fantasy, hence the cape and the blade. In season 1, we did our session 0 where we built the world and established all the details. If you are curious to see what that process looks like, enjoy world building sessions, you can go check that out on YouTube on the Utopia channel. However, if you just want to jump right into the story, stay with us for a minute. As here we go, back, opening up inside of a building. This building is really nice and fancy. It's got the vibes of a sleek superhero base, but built with the aesthetics of a fantasy world, but not your standard fantasy world, because this world draws on a lot of different cultures, and this guild that we're in the house of, the Guild of the Crosswinds Alliance, specifically is a superhero guild that tries to cater to all the various islands on our Sky Archipelago, which means they also draw from the architecture of all the various places. So, I want each of you to give me one detail from a different culture or island or group that integrates itself into the way this superhero base is built.
Ooh, I got one.
Yeah.
So I imagine that there's an island that's that was like when it was like uplifted, it was actually just like this sort of uh barnacle sort of coral reef kind of land
Yeah.
that was like brought up into the sky, and I feel like that makes up the floor of the base.
Ooh, I like that.
What color is the like coral?
I think it's the way the base is crafted. It depends on the room, so they've like made it sort of um they've like kind of handpicked all of the pieces to arrange almost in like an artful way, almost like wow, I'm just totally blanking on things you put on floors, floor tiles. Gosh.
Ah,
Oh boy. But like except now they're like barnacly and a little knotty, but you know, not necessarily painful on your feet. Because that's important.
nice. That's good.
Um but yeah, I think it's like definitely like artfully arranged. So it's whereas the actual island it's a lot more natural and more haphazard. This one is like very hand picked and arranged in like colorful patterns. So say one room might be like red and green kind of put together in like a dining area, and then another one might be like a nice like sea blue, like a turquoise kind of color. That kind of it changes.
Nice.
Lots and lots of seaweed sculptures. Such a variety. Most of them just kind of look like clumps of seaweed on a pedestal. But if you were somebody from the deep or even somebody from the middlings, not quite the shallows, that you would recognize the importance and the significance of the seaweed art. You know, that one is a blobfish before they have been brought up to the surface. That one over there is a water bee. You know, if you went down deeper than the fantasy Marianas Trenches, you would have recognized that. But just mostly lots and lots of seaweed sculptures of like a variety of shapes that don't make a lot of sense.
That's cool. Uh, I think that there are lots of like windows carved into the building to allow like airflow through it, and in the windows are set like these sort of like almost kind of like wind chime pipe
Ooh.
things that will like spin and rotate as the wind goes through them, and then when they're rotating they make kind of a nice like different note, based on the different size of them. So when there's like a good breeze blowing from like one direction or from the other, you can get these nice harmonies from the spinning chimes.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Okay, Alex has introduced some elements of uh, like musical nature to it, so of course I feel I have free reign to add on to that. So my
Please
original
do.
thought my original thought was that I wanted like if there are meeting tables that happen for different folks, but depending on whether it's meant to be like a group alliance meeting or if it's individual guilds, the different tables are styled after various kinds of crustaceans,
Okay.
but the unified meeting tables are like a union of them. So like one might have like sort
Oh.
of a like a crab interior circle, but the outer outline might have dolphin and shark fins. I know
Yeah.
they're not
Whoa.
crustaceans, but like sea life and things of that
Sure.
sort. And but also to play off of the wind chime element, I think that there's kind of a harmony effect that happens because some of the walls have a like on shell design to them,
Oh,
so
yeah.
that when the wind is
Mm.
going through it, like because there's always that sense of like when you put it up
Yeah.
to your ear, you can hear the ocean. This one, except it's different musical tones.
I love that. Yeah, and
Ooh.
as this establishing shot of the base goes around, one thing that is noticeable about the tables is that they're all adaptable in that the seating can be raised or lowered. They can be changed to fit different body types, different limb arrangements. Some of them can even cave in and become a water bowl, because most of the creatures that live here are various types of anthropomorphic beings, and the base is built to accommodate all sorts of needs. And the seating can all be remodified or adjusted on the fly in order to fit its occupant. The final touch that I will add is I think the base has minaret-like structures that are used for announcements across the base and also to serve as lookout posts from time to time. We are going to start with one of you right now is staring off from the minaret. Who is it? Who's currently... Are you on lookout? Are you looking forlornly? And which one of you wants to volunteer for that? Oh? Yes, go ahead, O.
So O is a short, female-bodied, almost picture like if anybody's ever heard of this game called The Legend of Zelda. There's these Zoro-type folks.
Oh, you mean the best?
Yes. So depending on your Zelda history, comparable to God, what was her name?
Princess Ruta?
Princess Ruta. That cute little jerk face. A little bit like her and a little bit like Mifa from Breath of the Wild, but more blue vibes. And then anything. But
Mifa.
like again, not like humanoid, but just heckin' cute, you know? Just so heckin' cute. And she's just like leaning on the edge of this, just like staring off into space. What do you think, 8? Do you think that we're ever gonna really find the person who destroyed our town? Of course we are. I don't know why you worry so much. All you do is talk to the air. Just gotta keep quiet, keep your thoughts on the inside, okay? Okay, I'll try to do better, but you know, just you gotta be kinder to me, 8. Sometimes your words are a little harsh. Ugh. He grunts kind of and just like flops a noodle arm like across my forehead.
Perfect. And
I love that he doesn't have tentacles, he has noodle arms.
as he's doing that, one of his noodle arms, like which is waving against air, there's a thwack sound as it thwacks against a playing card, which sticks to the noodle arm and like falls in front of you. And I think you look at it, and we're gonna cut for a second. Ooh. Let's go to Gallivander. Where do we find you in this space?
I think I'm in a spot. So I think it's like what kind of ends up being like a messenger minaret. Except like it's a lot of things like it basically is like looks a lot like a messenger pigeon place where like there's a lot of open spaces and a lot of like ways for like birds to fly through and pass messages.
A roost?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
roost,
I think,
that's...
and unlike the minarets on the side, this one's probably like a central tower. It doesn't have the same type of visibility for like lookout purposes, but it does work as a point where everything can fly in and out.
Yeah, and so the reason Galley's here is because it's just extra breezy in this spot, so it's easier to like interact with the crosswinds in this location. And I don't think they're trying to talk so much as they're just like listening for a moment. And that it also has the half plus of maybe the crosswinds just sends a bird or a butterfly. I guess they use butterflies a lot too. It won't be like a standard message, but something weird will just like find its way to me, or maybe I'll figure out what to say, and I'm just kind of like right there like pacing around. How Galley looks is they have they're Southeast Asian looking, but they have just like long black hair, and they're kind of wearing robes. If you were going to compare them to anything, they kind of look like Assassin's Creed robes. except they're not white. They're just like I think brown, like with like a little bit green on like under everything. And for galley, basically the goal for what they are is like they're like good for travel, like practical in that sense. Still kind of look like I'm proper in some sort of like ministerial way, but also they're very, very like comfortable and mobile and easy for me to run around in.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as you if you like see me move, there's definitely like a cat like quality to how like agile I just even just walk around rooms and things, and that becomes clear of like why like I dress the way I do.
Yeah.
But I'm right now just kind of like prancing, like not prancing, like pacing around the room. Kind of like a little anxious of like, oh, do I say something to the crosswinds? Like, what do I do? Just
Yeah.
and hopefully hoping that I just get put out of my misery somehow.
So you're standing there, and obviously, since there's wind blowing through here, there are the chimes, and the chimes are eliciting a pretty steady tone for the most part, right? They dingle a little, but because the wind comes from one direction, it doesn't change suddenly. It tends to be the one note played soothingly, um, and then the note stops for a second, and the wind begins to blow in a way as if to play a song, and it conveys a sort of calming tone at first, the type one might use at the beginning of a religious ceremony or communique, one that you would use to respect a being. And then it begins to shift in tone to that of urgency. The notes become higher and more shrill, and it almost for a second looks like it's going to escalate to like a point where it drowns out all of her noise, and then the noise stops again, and the wind blows in a single playing card, which lands at Galley's feet.
And Gala just looks down, is like, oh, I don't like where this is going.
Cut to Yolanda. Where do we find you at this base?
I think the most expected spot to find her would be like in whatever might be the equivalent of like an archive section.
Okay.
And I kind of imagine instead of like book reading like nooks, there's more individual uh like hermit crab shell
Yeah.
like little spots, so folks can like sort of have their own personalized lights and everything to just read and be have their own privacy. But I think there's kind of a look of not quite frustration, but a sense of like kind of one like when you make a sigh that's not like I'm not sad, I'm not unhappy, but
Yeah.
something feels off. Like she's it looks like she's probably been pouring through books for a while,
Yep.
but she's probably just muttering something to herself like this doesn't feel the same anymore. Mm. I don't know why that is. Something feels different.
Perfect. And we get to zoom out a little bit. And I think the way this archive is structured is these pods are actually mobile. They can move through the archive and take you to the shelves. So I think what the archive actually is it's a almost bottomless pit. Like you step into the archive, you get in a pod, and the archive just goes straight down. And like your pod navigates you through the archives to the things you want to grab. I think the archive is actually all underwater, and the pods allow you to navigate it, and all the records are magically sealed, so as to not be damaged by the water.
Kind of imagine there's just been one of those things where like she maybe used to have to like cast some sort of spell in order to do it, but she's maybe more recently been getting more of a control over how to shift her own body. So she's just like casually like has gills on the side of her neck or something, or she has fins in case she needs to swim, like
Mm-hmm.
on her shoulders, like the edges of her feet and like
Yep.
her hands, and she's just there like partially fish and just
Yep.
looking through it. And if like someone were to see her, she'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, it's like I feel like people have sometimes given you like sure whatever because like the pods are built to give you air, right? They're built to be airtight so that people who they can't retrieve water can use the archives. But
she's still just anxious and paranoid
Yes.
enough of a person to be like,
I
in case.
I understand. Yep. No, that's fair. Okay. And so you're just sitting there like browsing through books, right? As you reach for the next one, you see that there's a bookmark placed inside of it. The bookmark is, of course, a playing card. And on that, oh, do you have a reaction?
No, she's just looking at it like, oh no.
And on that, we're going to cut to the person who has been in this base the longest, Tamal.
Yeah, I think Tamal is at like there's like a little like sparring training area.
100%.
And she is actually like standing there sort of like with her arms crossed, like watching the fight that's going on between, I think there's a couple of like newer recruits who are like, you know, in their teens. And she's sort of like supervising their fights, and she has like restorative and healing powers. I'll to give a brief description of her for anyone who's catching up just this time. Tamal is a great big, like, over 6 foot tall living statue, and she has like carved, like sort of wavy shoulder length hair, and her skin and hair are like sort of a dark brownish color that's kind of speckled with like little black specks.
Mm-hmm.
And she's wearing a big ornate blacksmith's apron. And we can see that as this fight is going on, the apron is also made of metal. As the fight is going on, there's maybe like a girl who has like some sort of glowing light like around her arms and fists is facing off against a boy who's like sliding around like he's like frictionless on the ground. So
Mhm.
they're kind of like having this little back and forth. Uh, and she reaches into a portal that appears on her arm and pulls out like a metal like I think it's like a training spear. Like it's clearly a spear where like the edge of it has been blunted and stuff, that she's made for the fight, and she throws it over to the boy and says like, "All right, now get in there, see if you can get some damage on her," because he's just been evading a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as you do that, he grins, and the other person with the glowing face, like, "Hey, wait a second," and like barely has time as this frictionless boy slides in and like goes for a swipe, and they begin trading blows, and then like he gets a hit in with this training spear, and she just growls, goes, "All right, that's enough," and like punches the spear in half the next time he goes for a punch, and the like spearhead and like the bit of shaft attached to it fly towards you, and land at your feet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I will you know, look down at it and say, all right, nice work. See, I knew you'd be able to handle that just fine.
And as you're saying that, you notice that the spearhead has actually pinned to the ground, and is pinning to the ground a playing card.
That's great. Yeah, I reach down and pop it out,
Perfect.
pick up the card.
And as all four of you look at the playing cards at the same time, as we get like a four-way split screen of all of you staring at this playing card, and we see this card is the Ace of Hearts, and with custom art of your handler, and she is a genderqueer person who uses she and he pronouns. She's got on a very standard. Oh no, what she's wearing is she is wearing a very casual clothes with a cape and a fedora. I think is shorts and a crop top with a cape and fedora. They are in purples and pinks. She is Middle Eastern, and she is half looking at like off the card, half looking at another card in the card. Uh, and as you all look at this card at the same time, the image of her on it winks at all of you. And you find yourself all in the meeting room.
Oh, wow. Did we? Yeah, I think we just teleported. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I think I'm very unfazed because I'm used to working with portals a lot.
Yeah.
I just poofed in sitting. Like,
Yo-
but in chairs properly way of sitting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Just chilling like this.
Are we here for a meeting? Have I been invited for a meeting?
Yes, I believe you have. If you just hear Yolanda muttering something about damn conjuration school. Oh, why did I never
Yolanda.
learn more of this?
I'm gonna sit right next to you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to see you.
It is so good to see you again. Tamal, you're looking as scary as ever.
Oh, thank you. I say, because I think Tamal I think we established last season, she like weighs like 1,000 pounds, right?
Yes.
So I'm like pushing together two of the modular seats to have something that can actually hold my weight.
Yep.
Very convenient for me.
Literally shift gravity around it in order to make it work, or like they have built-in like so that it accommodates for every like size and everything. It does.
Yeah.
I just imagine that you have to like you put two together and then you have a third that you put under to like stabilize everything and allow to like take the weight.
They've got some little like runes glowing on the side that activate when she sits down.
Beautiful.
I just like hear hydraulic pistons just like
And then, as you all are kind of getting around the table, you hear the clicking of high heels moving down the hall. And if you turn in the direction of the sound, you see your handler, Cyril. She's wearing flip-flops. She just has a magical enchantment to make it sound like she walks down with high heels.
Amazing.
Goals.
No flippy flop sounds, just clack, 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 huh?
And she gives a really warm and confident smile as she walks in. Looks like the gang's all here. Wonderful.
Yep. We're ready for whatever you need.
Yeah, we are. In fact, we've been waiting forever. Hey, please stop. We've been very patient.
No, I can completely understand your little companion's impatience. After all, sitting around for a long time without doing anything can make anyone antsy. But we do finally have a thing that we need a team for. In fact, we need a team for about 10 minutes ago, so I'm going to keep this brief. There is reports of a construct rampaging through one of the smaller cities, and one with no guild close enough to have its own local heroes. So, we're sending you all out to deal with it. Focus is always on containing the damage and making sure that no one is hurt. Subduing the rampaging construct, of course, is a secondary goal, but focus should always be on keeping people safe.
Would you say that this construct is capable of leveling an entire city?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it is capable of probably leveling the city that it's in, but depends. City is a relative term.
Okay.
Is the construct ordinarily calm, or do we not know, and is that information that you'd like to find out?
All information that is up to you to find out if you can.
Okay.
And I kind of cast a side look over at Yolanda and I say, well, at least it doesn't have a horrible parasite controlling it this time, right?
you just see her do the like slight like kind of like shake. She's just like remembering it, and then you see her like rubbing a spot like right below like her
Yeah.
chest where she
Oh,
recalls the soul punch occurring. She's like, thank oh, bless us for that. And you just see her like raising a hand like towards a bag she keeps with her, and you just see like 3 books starting to fly out of it, and she's already starting to like try and like
Mm-hmm.
look through like okay, wait, that's the
Okay.
parasite
I,
book. Throw that
as you're
away.
doing this, I have to. As and when you have that like little moment of shuddering and remembering, Cyril leans in and goes, "Is everything all right, Yolanda?"
You'd have to have been punched by a god to understand in full.
Uh,
Otherwise, yeah, I'm
Like
fine.
multiple people in the room, just like, yeah, I understand.
yeah. I think Cyril just like tilts her head slightly, and she says, "You know, I don't think I've been directly punched by a god, but you'd be surprised." And she winks again.
I have a question.
Yes.
What was it like to be punched by a god?
You know how you ever like stepped on something like slightly pointy and then like it hurts the edge of your foot?
Oh, yes. Kind of
Imagine
like
that.
muscles or
Imagine
urchins?
that, but like at like a molecular level where like every part of you is getting like poked, and then add pain, and then
Okay.
add yelling.
Oh, my. Yeah, that sounds terrifying.
It's really bad. I would not
Thank you.
recommend going through it again
Very good
for
description,
anyone.
though.
You're welcome. You are charming. Thank you for that.
Not to break up this touching conversation, but we are on a bit of a timeline here.
Oh, yes.
When my calling cards can only bring you to a preset location, so you all are going to have to make your way over to the transport center yourself.
Oh. Like regular commoners?
Do non-commoners not travel normally where you're from? Oh,
Oh, goodness, no, I don't have to swim anywhere if I don't want to. I have a cord and a fish who will take me.
I didn't realize you
Right.
were some kind of princess.
Oh, no. I just have a lot of power. Oh, I did.
Right, well, I would gladly carry you there myself, except, I was never actually here. And
What?
there's a poof, and the playing card falls from the body of Cyril that was there.
the least surprising thing you said all day.
Just see Yolanda looking at it, and she's like, "Really?"
And Yolanda, you say that, and you look at it, and you swear without a doubt, it winks at you.
There's like a mixture on her face of like the frustration of not knowing like a move you know your colleague was going to do, but also like very clear blushing going all across her face. She you can't exactly tell whether it's pure anger or embarrassment or both. Probably both.
I do
Like,
need to add a final detail, that the one part of her illusion that was tangible was their fedora, which falls on top of the card.
Did we just get
Amazing.
illusionist my ladies? Is this what just happened? We just got illusionist my ladies.
Yolanda.
Also,
Eight
Gally
says your
goes up
face
to
is very
Yolanda and just like goes and says to her, maybe you should keep that, and points to the card in the fedora.
She's just like muttering, like not even words, just syllables at this point, and then you just see her like take the card and like put it as a bookmark in one of her books.
I just put the
Amazing.
hat on your head.
Oh,
I think it suits you. It might fall off in the wind or in the water, but nonetheless, hats are quite lovely here.
Doesn't say anything. She's just like, can we go, please?
Oh, I'm ready. Please point me in the right direction, and I will find a way to walk.
Right here. And
Oh, right,
and
we
I
should be
start leading us
rushing.
off.
Okay. So you head off to the transportation deck, which is, I believe, one of the few outdoor rooms in the space. And this is when, like, as you all line up on the transportation deck, waiting, waiting, and a second later, one of the whales arrives that'll carry you to your destination.
Yes, I was hoping it would be a whale.
And as you begin to board your whale, the camera follows as your whale takes off, and you realize that it takes off from the back of an even larger whale
Yes.
that is, for lack of better terms, beached on the moon. Or, more accurately, one of the 48 moons.
Oh, it's very good.
As this entire base is, in fact, built on a whale that loves resting on various moons.
Oh.
I didn't realize how it would sound when you actually said it out loud. It's even better than I could have hoped for.
And with Moonbase Whale Beach behind you, you make way to the archipelago. And I think the way that transport works here is your smaller whale gets onto the back of the larger whale, and through its little sprout, it gives a burst of speed to the smaller whale, sending it off
Yes.
towards your destination.
Perfect.
Whee!
And we are going to open up on a shot of a village mildly in flames. Luckily, this village isn't built out of too much flammable material, so it's mostly flames on the ground or some of the trees or wood around the village. Because I think this is a village mostly of anthropomorphic cave-dwelling creatures. Certain lizards, batkin, even some things that burrow. And they've built most of their village out of rock and stone, so that it is familiar to the caves that their biology is based on. Which means, luckily, burning is not super effective against it. But the rampaging cyborg still is.
Oh. Was that an intentional Pokemon? It's not very effective
Yeah,
because it was fire
just-
against rock.
No, that's just how physics works. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
okay.
Please
Just checking
ignore my
for no
rule.
reason. Yep.
No love of Pokemon here.
So even if we weren't Miladied Fedora, we were probably Miladied at least in some capacity by that.
Oh.
So good.
I'm sorry, are you saying if someone walked up to you with a Lucario hoodie and said, "Milady," it wouldn't be effective?
No, I'm just now like picturing you in the Lucario hoodie with like wearing the hat that like the Lucario Aura trainer
Oh,
has.
yeah, the Aura
But-
Guardian hats? Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I know what I'm acquiring next. Anyways.
Answer your question, it would depend how tall and how attractive she was. I'm transparent about many things.
Oh, yes, in case it wasn't obvious, Sayrish is very tall. Now, with that established,
Just assumed.
we're going to open on this whale hovering above the village. And I need you all to describe your superhero landings. Because it's not going to land in the village. You're going to have to jump out.
Heck yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a far way down. I'm going to think on this for a few seconds.
I'll
on.
definitely just jump. So I think that Tamal has geared up by getting her forge that is back home, that the portal in her belly is linked up to the forge, and she has yelled through it to get her assistant stoking the fires hot, and then has reached through the portal in her arm that connects to her weapon racks and pulls out this big long like all metal sledgehammer, and then does it again. So now she has two just big, wrecking crew sledgehammers. And as she jumps down, she just lands boom with both of her hands out, and definitely like cracks the ground right down on one knee with the hammers out.
Perfect. Beautiful. And I feel like as you go down, there is like a small dent in the floor where you land. Not as much as you might expect, because it is real solid ground, but you do definitely impact it.
Nice.
Morgan, did you have a thought for your superhero landing already, or would you
Oh
like me to
yeah,
take
I
it?
just had to look up what the name of it was. So like
Oh.
so you know in Assassin's Creed it's like I think it's called Leap of
Leap
Faith,
of Faith,
right? Where
yes.
you just like jump from a 5 building drop. Yeah, so it is just the start of it is just that. That's how I like get off the whale and just like drop. But instead of like landing like really hard, like 3-point style, the wind slows me down and I just gently drop on 2 feet on the ground, almost like I was like taking a step on the ground instead of falling.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
is gonna look over at Yolanda. Are you ready? Do you need any help?
I'll be fine, dear. Don't worry. Are you going to be okay?
Oh yeah, 8 says that he'll catch me. 8, are you ready? Are you? Yeah. Just make sure you don't wiggle too much on the way down. Okay. I'm just gonna jump off, and I should make it. If I don't, Yolanda, it was really good knowing you.
It was a pleasure knowing you too, dear.
Thank you.
She's not worried at all about you. She's like, it's magical creature. It'll do something.
So yeah, she just takes a step off, and there's like an awkward moment where she just kind of like does like a somersault and then like an awkward sideways flip, and like her arms are like flailing in the air, and then 8, who was tossed off right before she like chucked him down. He expands into a giant octopus, and just as O is about to hit the ground, she kind of like falls into like the gelatinous part of his head and bounces up a little bit. Like, whoa,
His head.
okay, that was quite nice. Thank you. I'm glad we made it together.
Wait, just basically survived by using a bouncy house octopus?
As you do.
As you do.
I see no flaws with this plan.
I also see no
He
flaws
gets
in
to
this.
ride on your head the rest of the time, so turnabout is fair play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it's the sensible route. I think Yolanda's is just sort of like her taking a deep breath, and like she holds up her hands, and it's like several pages from like spell books appear in front of her, but like, and she begins starting to say something, but then she stops, and then she like waves her hands back and sends them back into her bag, and then she just sort of like takes a deep breath, jumps off, and just sort of kind of how I imagine like in the MCU, like the Scarlet Witch, because as a refresher for aesthetic, she's somewhere between Yennefer from The Witcher, Zatanna, and Scarlet Witch from MCU, sort of an amalgamation of those aesthetics and those kind of looks. She actually, you start seeing like pulsing red energy grow around her, and it looks like if anyone were looking just up at the sky, it would look like a sudden like flame appeared, and from her back she sprouts like phoenix wings, and she just sort of like very gently like flies down. And for the last bit of it, she like by reflex casts something to break her fall, but like she's only like 5-10 feet from it, so she because I think she's somewhere between like I can do more, no I can't, no I can't, no I can't, no I can't, no I can't. And she's somewhere in that, but yeah, it just looks like she like grew phoenix wings from the back, because I have a brand, and that is all burb all the time. So yeah, she takes on phoenix wings, and she floats down very gently. But she also uses magic at the end because she's still afraid.
That's really good.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And with that, you all land in front of what I what looks like from a side profile to just be the side profile of a human. But then it turns and the while the side profile was designed to look like a human, you can tell the creator of it gave up some point along the way, and the construct just lacks any sort of coating or design on most of its left body and is just metal and machinery, sometimes exposed. Its right arm, with the human one, wields a weapon that, upon closer inspection, extends from their arm into this giant blade, but is actually really well designed such that it looks like they're holding it normally. And their left arm, which is unexposed, just has a essentially flamethrower. Uh, those of you who know magic can see the runes inside of the arm that summon the fire. Um, and that flamethrower is being let loose across this village, while the sword begins to hack away at the walls. And with each swing, it does like a solid like stone cave wall in with each swing.
I have a
How
question.
how tall is it?
It's also
that
an
is
important question.
It's a separate and corporate question, which is not what I was thinking of.
tall. I would say about 7 feet.
Okay.
Morgan, your important question?
So my question is, so say if I'm standing there, I'm looking at Tamal, also logging my memory back of Andros, my godly mentor, who is maybe not the best person, and comparing it to this construct, would I recognize any resemblance?
I mean, how do you think Unrest looked like?
Um, so I imagine like Andros is sort of like very like explicitly like Greek statue like
Okay.
constructed, but the main like visual motif that connects him to Tamal is that they both have the like hearth chest like flaming thing that's going on. I
Gotcha.
just think Andras's is like always a little bit exposed in some way,
Yeah.
except just like there's a glass part like where the heart is that makes it a little more
Ooh.
visible.
Did,
But
have,
otherwise, that's the like shared motif between the two.
did you ever see Andres get damaged?
Yes.
So it depends how experienced you are with constructs. But yeah, like the part that is exposed and uncovered looks like what Andres looked like when they were damaged. I don't know if you'd be able to tell if that's just how all constructs are, or if that's specifically a connection, but that is the point of reference. You look for a hearth and you can't see it, but you also can't see a core to this being right now.
Okay, interesting. Okay, just curious. Figured that was an important thing to ask.
Yeah. But what do y'all do? It hasn't particularly taken notice of you. I think it saw you, but you haven't done anything to gain its attention, so it is continuing its rampage.
Is anyone in
Nice.
immediate danger? Like a person?
Yeah, I mean, so like as it had just swung down a wall, there is a family inside. I'm gonna say a mix of mole and lizard and bat people family, and it begins to point the flamethrower in that direction.
Uh, okay. I'll unless anyone wants to step in, I can.
I was
Try to
just
do
gonna
something.
talk to them, but Gally, if you think that maybe speaking with them is better than that,
You hear the rune for the flamethrower begin to charge up.
Oh, I'm like, totally
Go
down with you
ahead.
talking to them. I was just going to save the people that were in.
oh yeah, if you want to go and save them, I would love to ask them how their day is.
The
I mean,
fire
also
begins
a
to send
flamethrower.
out.
Anyway,
Excuse
I'm
me?
going to go. So one of the powers that I wrote down is like I checked mark the protective magic in or protective channeling in the devout. How I imagine it for the crosswinds is it's like all sorts of movement based stuff. So you just
Ooh.
like move around and therefore not get hit. So I just framed it under protective because I don't know. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm just it's almost like I kind of move through the wind, except like the space between me and where that spot is just kind of closes instantly, and it's just like flash step to the spot, and I can grab the people and like and flash step out basically.
Yeah,
Sick.
yeah. Let us begin with our first roll of this new campaign. Da-da-da-da-da. All right.
Yeah.
So, the way the
Dice.
rolls work, for those who are unfamiliar, is instead of normal PTA games where you have roll 2d6 and add a modifier, whether that comes from your stats or comes from questions or what have you, in Chimera, you have unique dice that you just roll. And they can range from D4s to D10s and sometimes even D12s in very rare situations. So, you are going to be using defend your friend's words. So, you're just approaching this by rushing in and just acting quickly?
Yes.
Okay. So, I think you are either acting with energetic or optimistic, depending on how you see this. Energetic is if this is acting, if the focus on your approach is the speed and the energy of your action.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Optimistic is if it's about the instinct and the like acting without thinking it through.
That's a good question. I guess it's mostly the speed is what I'm focusing on, I think. But I'm also not thinking that much. It was just like, I guess what Gally was doing was, okay, let's look around. People. I think that's the highest on the priority list. I'm gonna deal with that right now.
Yep. Okay. So if you, yeah, I think energetic makes sense.
Okay.
So
So that's, I think it's, that one's 2d8, I think. Let me double check.
yeah, 2d8. So go ahead and roll and tell us what you get.
Which one is this? Oh, no, that's a 10.
D10s
We
and
could always
D8s are
just
very similar.
we could just have you have that thing where you're like, oh, I can't do this. I had to roll like a 4 and a D4 and just get automatic 4 like you did last season.
That was really, that was, that sure happened. Okay, I'll roll this twice because I only have one d8 on me right now.
All right.
Okay, 3 of the first one. Is that a 6? Yes, that's a 9 total.
Okay, so that's a 7 to 9. So on a hit, you defend your target, but turn their focus on. You defend your target, but they turn their focus onto you, or it takes an emotional toll on you. So which do you want to take? Do you want to gain the focus of this construct, or do you want to take an emotional toll?
I mean, I'm fine with taking its attention unless someone would prefer its
Cool.
attention on them. B, I think you did.
Oh, wanted to be friends with it.
So
Okay.
I think so.
Do you want? I can take the toll then if you want to like take its attention then.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah. Do you so? You dash in to like grab these people out of the way, and the flamethrower licks towards you. What do you think causes you to take the emotional toll? Do you take damage from the flamethrower? Is there, or is it closer than you think it might be? What causes this to be a thing that affects you?
Ooh, I think I'm rusty. Like it's like obviously like in my past I like fought a lot, but
Yeah.
for me now I haven't been doing it as much recently, so like I'm not as practiced and as sharp, so I just like do something that normally would work and it doesn't this time. Like it's not like horribly off, but it's definitely like since we're like doing close calls here, I get like caught.
Perfect. Yeah, I like that. Like you get hit. I don't think it does much damage at this point, right? I think it's just a lick of flame. But anything at all hitting you is not the norm, right? Like especially one that isn't.
Yeah.
Especially a threat like this that is well within your capability to handle solo, right? At your prime, you could easily take out this construct. You know that. So the fact that it at all can get a lick on you,
Yeah, it means I'm getting really sloppy.
it's not
Nice.
good.
Yeah, so I'm assuming this means I mark a condition.
Yep. You
Yes?
mark
Okay,
a condition.
Let's do insecure because that seems
That seems
perfectly right
logical.
for insecure.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you wanted to do something.
Oh, yes. Excuse me, scary construct. I just have a very. Could you just kind of face me so I could talk to you and maybe look at you in both of your eyes?
Oh my god. I think here's what happens. So the flamethrower is still like trying to chase after Gallivander. The faceplate of the construct swings out, so its face is looking at you while it is still like shooting swinging at buildings. And so you have this
hello.
like metal robot faceplate staring at you.
Oh, wow, you're definitely not the person that destroyed my city. Well, I just have to let you know that we come in peace, and I want to let you know that nothing I can do will possibly hurt you. And I just want to let you feel safe and welcome here, and maybe, destroy a couple less things. Would that be okay? Maybe I could even throw you under some water and we can go swimming, and wouldn't that be fun?
It looks like it tries to say something. Isn't particularly able to. Like, it seems like there are words that begin to process and then stop. And the flamethrower stops. And it swings the arm around towards you. And through the arm, you hear it say, "Peace does not compute. Directive, destroy."
Oh, wow. I love a good prime directive. I've never really had one. I mean, unless you talk about a goal. But I kind of think that's the. You should probably just fight it. Oh, well, scary construct. How would you feel if you were taken apart?
That would negate prime directive.
Yeah, and then maybe we could, like, have a tea party under the water.
I do not like water. The fire begins revving up again.
Oh. Yolanda. They
Yes,
don't like
dear?
water. They don't like water.
I've gathered as much.
Okay. I'm kind of afraid to fight. I know I swore revenge, but Ada's always yelling at me to cause violence, and I really just want to like stand here and watch. I'm just gonna back up a little bit, and if you want to cast some magic, I am here for moral support.
I think Tamal also like puts a hand on your shoulder and says like, "Don't worry about it. You can still
Okay.
learn something from every battle, even if you're just watching."
Thank
And I
you.
sort of like move in front of you a little bit.
Aw. Yeah, actually, Tamal, why don't you roll me a defend? Because in that time, the flamethrower has revved up.
Amazing. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, if I'm just like casually stepping in front of her like that, can that be a defend with relaxed?
Yeah, I like that.
Sweet. I think
And
it's
with
very
relaxed,
it's
that's
very
amazing.
casual, and like with one hand I just like flip open the forge portal in my stomach, like, oh, I can use this fire. This will actually help me. So let's roll the 2d8s.
Tamal, if you need any water, I can definitely conjure some up.
I got an 11.
Oh,
jeez.
okay. So, with defend your friends, on a 10 plus, you can select one. You can either avoid the attention or emotional backlash. You can reciprocate against the threat, or you can add +1 to the fellowship pool.
I think I will avoid the backlash.
Cool. So you just stand in the way of this flamethrower, right? I'm assuming it just has no effect on you because fire.
Yeah, I just get, baked with the fire, and then like we can see that a bunch of it sort of gets like pulled into the forge portal in her stomach, and the forge is just like glowing even hotter.
Yeah. There's a moment where the fire starts heating up. It notices that you're absorbing the fire, so it begins to heat up the fire, and you wonder for a second if it might actually do any dent to your metal, even though the portal is absorbing it pretty fast. The amount of heat just flowing through you is starting to get even hotter than the forge.
Right.
And then it stops. You are like me.
I might be. I'm not sure. What makes you think that?
What is your prime directive?
Oh, I don't know. I was never given a directive, so I'm just
Tamal,
Then you
figuring
are
it out.
defective and must be scrapped.
no, Tamal, lie to it. Tell
Yolanda,
it
what are you up to?
it's love violence.
It's like this whispering embrace violence.
So good.
Tamal, I don't know if it's going to agree with you. And then she just holds up her hands, and she is like going to do like this gesture to do like an X pattern across it, and she's going to try and like pull up water to form like little mini like blades or buzz saws to just cut off just specifically the arm with the runes, just to disable that as a threat, because she's evaluated how it's reacted to various things. Hello, cat. And is now like just thinking, why don't we just disable this as a threat and just ensure that this is not going to be a problem until it actually engages with us more thoroughly. I understand that fire being thrown at people normally is a sign of aggression, but when you have someone who can eat flame, it's just slightly aggressive negotiations at this point. So yeah, she's just gonna just summon up like blades of water from around her and just going to just try and target and just cut off that arm.
Sounds to me
Specifically.
like you are engaging your enemies.
Yes.
Okay. So, I think it depends. It sounds to me like the way you're just kind of casually doing this is probably relaxed, but I could hear an argument for something else.
I was leaning more towards logical, but also relaxed. Either logical or relaxed, because I think she's just trying to stay calm and follow the same example of Tamales, but she's also like been taking in the situation and noticing like the runes and everything. So I think either one could be
Yeah,
the
I mean, are you
case.
targeting specifically the runes?
Yes, I think
then
she's
yes,
trying
then
to
I would
focus.
allow logical. Yeah.
Okay,
Nice.
so that'd be 2d8 on that, which is going to lead me to that's an 11.
Hey. Okay.
Hey.
So on a hit, you're both affected by the conflict. On a 10 plus, select 2. Avoid the emotional backlash. Give an advantage to whoever engages next. Shift the emotional landscape of the conflict. Take something significant from your target, or leave a lasting emotional impression or effect on your foe.
Okay, because I rolled 11, so it's 2. So I think she is going to avoid the emotional backlash. I think she's just like trying to follow the example
Yeah.
Tamala set and just building off of that. So she's not phased by this. I think she is going to like just it's like very calmly like just go like this, like pincer, and the blades that were kind of having a buzzsaw thing shift to a claw and just pincer down and just pull the arm just off.
That's so
And then
cool.
she's going to leave a lasting emotional impression effect on them from that. It's just like, please, I would rather not do more of this, but I will split you into pieces if you don't calm down. She just has her hands like this. She's just like slowly tightening it, but just enough on the arm because she doesn't know if the construct feels pain.
Yeah.
Just to
Aw.
make sure it's like she knows Tamal's a construct. She doesn't know how Tamal necessarily feels pain. She doesn't want to
Fair.
hurt another construct, but
And
she's
you-
also like, let's be clear,
Yeah.
no.
Sorry, so did you go with shift the emotional landscape? Or
Leave a
leave
lasting
impression?
emotional
Cool.
impression.
Perfect.
So impression, avoid backlash, and take something significant. Oh no, wait, I can only do 2. Sorry. Take something
Going big.
significant and leave an impression in that
Okay.
case.
So you're not gonna avoid? Perfect.
I will not avoid in that
Okay.
case.
Okay. So you're holding on to it, right?
Yes.
Okay. And okay, I think I know how this goes. You begin to tighten, and so you're trying to take its control. Is that what you're saying, or the rune?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remove the flame gout being sprayed at us as an option
Yes.
right now and make it clear more of this could follow,
Yes.
but I'd rather not do that.
Yep. And as this happens, the faceplate like reattaches onto the face, and it turns fully to face you. And the part of its body that is just entirely metallic seems completely unaffected by your actions. But the like quarter or so that was shaped after a human looks conflicted. And it just looks at you and says, cannot oppose prime directive. And you realize with the rune that you like took out for the flamethrower, it's actually forcing itself to speak through the voice box.
Oh.
Oh. I feel worse now.
That is your
Jesus.
emotional backlash. Go ahead and
God
mark a
damn
condition.
it. Oh God, I think she would feel. I'm leaning towards either upset or sad. Seems
Mhm.
the most appropriate. I'm gonna say sad. She's just. That's a lot for her.
From behind Tamal, O's head will kind of like peek out. Who gave you that prime directive?
Cannot betray prime directive.
Tamal, there has to be a way we can make them betray their prime directive. I want to know who programmed them.
Yeah, I think we can take them down without destroying them. We can disable them, and if we need to repair them later, that's well within my skill set.
Okay.
Must fulfill prime directive, and it begins to raise the blade towards y'all.
All right, I think I'm just gonna start rushing towards it to hit it with my hammers.
All right.
So I'm gonna say, I'm sorry about this, bud, but don't worry, these things can fix you later. And I just start going wham, wham, wham,
If you're
wham.
just rushing in like that, I think that's probably valiant.
Sounds good.
O thinks you're being valiant. That's for sure.
Thank y'all. All right, I got 8. Wow, that was low.
Mixed success.
I'll take it.
Cool. So on a 7 to 9, you can select one from the list.
I will. Let's leave a lasting emotional impression again. I think that's
Okay.
kind of fun. So I think I'm like, while I'm like, giving them these like pulverizing blows, it's very clear that I'm avoiding like the head and the chest of this thing. I'm not trying to like smash anything that would
Yeah.
permanently damage it. I'm just trying to disable it.
Cool. Perfect. And you start doing that, and I think the impression, there is some winces of pain, but you also see for a split second the part of it that can emote expresses gratitude because it realizes what you're doing. And
That's nice.
just as you're able to process that, there like the blade clashes with both your hammers, and you like end up locked blade to hammer.
Nice.
And then, because you didn't avoid the emotional backlash, I think in this case it is a physical blow you take. As
Sweet.
what happens, the faceplate opens once more, and this time you're in position to see what is behind the faceplate.
Ooh.
And it is something familiar. It looks almost like your hearth, but smaller and more focused. And then a blast of heat comes out of it, but you realize too late that it's not just the more like portally heat of your hearth or the warm fire of the other hearths, but a focused laser that pierces through your shoulder.
Yes. Thank you.
It's
I was
rough.
really hoping it was going to be a laser.
And I'm going to ask you to roll here.
Oh, yeah.
You are going to roll for me to brace yourself. So you roll with conditions marked, which I don't think you have any yet, so you just roll
I do
2d6
not.
flat.
So that's nice. All right, 2d6. I got a 9. Yikes.
Cool. On the 7 to 9, choose one.
All
Redirect your
right.
consequences to your allies. I will make a hard move against them. Demand something significant of an ally. If they dismiss your request, they mark a condition. You temporarily lose control of your Chimera. Gain disadvantage on your next move while your opponent gains an opportunity. Or have an emotional outburst and mark 2 conditions.
Oofa doofa. That's all I have to say to this oofa doofa.
Yeah, that's cool. I think it makes sense to temporarily lose control of my Chimera, I think. Because this is, like, very shocking to me.
Yeah.
I'm not used to things that can just actually drill through me and deal damage for one thing. And I'm just very shocked by this like kind of revelation that this thing might be related to me as well.
Yes. And I think what drives that revelation really home is that as it like the laser hits through you, you realize there's the initial like burst of it stabbing through you, but then it seems to pull as its hearth pulls on your hearth and draws flame
Ooh.
into itself. And what ends up happening is this scene of this laser going through your shoulder, your hearth opening, and fire going towards this construct. And it begins swirling around you, a tornado of flame and laser beginning to trap the two of you, and wrecking through, starting to threaten to wreck through this village. Oh,
Cool.
you haven't acted yet. What do you do?
How do you deal with a tornado of flame and laser, bud?
Uh,
Yeah. That's a lot. I think that they have something called psionics.
Yeah.
Some weird water magic that they're still trying to kind of grasp and understand, and this magic has been amplified because of the pact that they made with the water spirit. So I think they probably unclasp 8. Okay, I know this is a big ask, but I need you to blast that with a water cannon and try to set it off course so we can save all the people that we can. Are you able to do that? Yeah, I guess I can. I mean, you ask so much of me. Okay, we're gonna do this. And I want to like Blastoise water cannon it.
Perfect.
Nice.
I'm going to ask you to embrace your chimera.
Okay. What does
Heat,
that mean
use
again?
hydro pump.
That's the one. Thank you.
Yes, the best move.
To be
I
fair,
don't have a
hydro
Pokemon
cannon is
bias.
also a separate move.
Hold on. I don't have a Pokemon type bias.
Oh my god, no. You? What? Nah.
Anyways, so yeah, I think the way you're doing this, so you're stepping up, you're imploring 8 to handle this. I think this is
So this-
optimistic.
Okay. And when I embrace my chimera, do I get to roll anything else, or it's just my flat roll for my optimistic?
It's a flat roll. You should have 2
Okay.
dice for that.
Do I think I did this wrong again?
Oh no.
That's okay.
We've got...
I think I filled in half.
Yes, you did. You have either a D6 or a D4 to throw with that. Up to you.
D6 now, because you gave me the choice.
Fair enough.
Yep.
That's your set now. Yeah.
Oh god, I can't read beyond my microphone.
Oh no.
7, 8, 9, 10. 10!
Nice.
All right, on a 10, you do the thing. It's just straight up successful. So, what are you hoping to accomplish? Are you trying to put the fire out? Are you trying to move it off course?
Move it off course. Well,
Yeah.
if possible, extinguishing some of the flames. I know we can't do much about like the other powers, like the other
Yeah.
elements involved, but
So I think, actually no, I think what happens. So, what happens when you combine water with fire? Quick physics test.
it gets
Steam.
scary.
Steam. And
Oh.
what happens
this
to
is steam.
light in steam?
It gets opaque.
Correct.
Correct.
And
Ah, I
lasers.
pass.
Lasers are light. So you shoot this tornado with water, and the fire begins to steam up, and the lasers begin blocking and dissipating until all that's left is just a Tamal whose energy is being somewhat absorbed by this construct. Locked blades. But this construct is otherwise exposed because Tamal is still locked in blades. Gally, what do you do?
I'd like to use my improvised weapon attack move.
Ooh.
Nice.
My improvised weapon of choice is because we're in a cave system. I'm grabbing a stalactite and
Yes.
dropping down
Amazing.
Yeah.
Grabbing a stalactite.
Okay.
Like you do.
Like you do.
Like you do, just casual things. All right. So when you do this, you roll engage your enemies with energetic.
Okay. Energetic's 2d8, right?
It's 2d8. Yep.
Okay. Really wish I had 2 monitors for this. That would make this much easier. Oh, well.
Honestly,
I
yeah.
only got one. Yeah. I only have one, unfortunately. Currently. Wait, is that? Oh, sick. So the first one was an 8.
Okay.
14 total.
Okay. So on a
Jesus.
13 plus, you pick 3, and
Okay.
because you're time to improvise, you get to choose one extra from your list of confuse your opponents with your unorthodox attacks or embolden your allies.
Oh, let's do the other ones first. So, I want to let's start with change the emotional landscape of the fight.
Okay.
Then let's see. We can probably role play this out a little bit, but I want to take something from them. But the thing I want to take is I want to take some information.
Hmm.
Okay.
I just kind of want to learn a little bit more about like why either not necessarily like why they're here, what they're doing, or something about like who they are, or what they'd want us to do, like something in that vicinity. Like you can pick which of those it is, but I'd like to
I got
learn
this.
something.
I got this. I know how to combine those two.
Oh, sorry, let me pull up the list.
The other options are avoid emotional backlash, or leave a lasting impression, or give advantage. Forward.
Sorry, I just have to. For me, it's easier if I just. Here we go. See it in front of me. Okay. Okay, so did that. I don't want to lay a lasting impression. So what's the other one? Oh, give advantage. Oh, okay, yeah, let's give advantage. And then the last option would be
From your list.
Sorry, that was not.
Yeah,
the
you can either
sheet.
confuse your opponents with your unorthodox attack or embolden your allies.
Oh, whoops. Oh, okay, that also gives advantage. Ah, interesting. Okay. Eh. Okay. So how about we reverse that? So let's make it embolden allies from this, and then do avoid
Emotional
avoid emotional backlash
Cool.
for the other one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So here's what happens. You're just stabbing it with this stalagmite, right?
Yeah, I think I'm just like coming. So like once the steam clears, you kind of just see like you kind of pan below, and then you just see a shadow coming through the steam as I'm just kind of crashing from the ceiling, I guess.
Yeah.
In to just like try and help them all out.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, like you cut a stalactite off the ceiling and it fell down with you.
Yeah, basically.
That's
Exactly.
so
That's what I did. And I think I'm just yelling to Malik, take your chance. And I'm probably like after doing that kind of like face to face with it now. So if you want, if just looking at the construct and just like just going, I know you want to work with us. Is there anything we can do to help you stop yourself? And I'm just gonna keep staring and hopefully get an answer.
Okay. Okay. So here's what happens. You give it and like so as you sort of stab it down, you see that it's like arm drops, and Tamal, you're freed from your lock in the hammer grip, but the laser is still kind of through you. And I think the way you're gonna get your answer is Yolanda. You notice a final rune that you hadn't seen now that the faceplate is fully open for the laser to be hitting Tamal on the inside of the faceplate. And you recognize it. I'm sure one of your parents has taught you a little bit about Gullimancy. And you recognize this as a simple control rune.
Okay. I don't know if Tamal wanted to follow up or you wanted me to take on
Oh, go
this.
for it.
She is just going to. Okay, I could do this the simple route, or I could do this the extra route, which I think I'm gonna probably go for the
Obviously,
extra route.
yeah.
So I think she's going to like raise up her hands and she's just going to create almost like a gust effect that just blows away everything, but it's going to filter out into almost like a little like dart that she's going to use to focus to fire it at the rune and just basically be like release
Ooh, I like that.
and just break the rune.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh.
Go ahead and roll.
She's basically just she's manipulating all the energy that she's seeing the elements around her and just turning it into something to focus to get
Yeah.
rid of the control.
Go ahead and embrace your chimera, unless you have a specific move you'd like to use.
I think Embrace Your Chimera works in that she is not used to doing something this extensive.
Perfect.
What would you say in this? Because I don't think this fits logical for her.
No.
I think she's taking things in, but I don't think this is her being
I
logical.
think this is optimistic.
Optimistic, you think?
Yeah.
I think that makes sense because I think optimistic says
One of the things is first
Shot in the dark.
Yeah.
It's a little dark in the dark in this one.
Yes.
And it was the advantage to Tamal or for
It's to
the
anyone
next
who goes
person who
next. So
acted?
you got 2d8 on this.
Okay, so it's 2d8 because both dice get upgraded. Is that how
Right.
that works for the advantage?
Just one. Or, sorry, 1d6.
Oh,
I was
one,
looking at your
one.
Valiant. My bad. 1d6 and 1d8.
So it's one die gets upgraded.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll see how this goes. Not good. That's a 5.
Well,
Whoop.
you can choose to use your move if you want at this point.
Oh, you're right. Because I think I do have a
You have. I
move
meant to do
related.
that,
Ooh.
but
Wait, it's called I meant to do that. That's so good.
Yes.
That's really good.
up to
To
you.
treat it instead. It says on a miss you may mark a condition to treat it instead. Oh wow, wow, that is actually really good. Yeah.
Yep.
Especially with her whole reality warping abilities. Yeah. So yeah, I meant to do that. When you embrace your chimera on a miss, you may mark a condition to treat it instead as a 7 to 9 result.
Perfect. So
That sounds perfect to me.
on the 7 to 9, it does what you intended, but you must choose one. Either yourself or someone around you gets hurt. You will brace yourself if you are the target. Something important breaks in an unintended way. The situation escalates. The effect is only temporary or unstable. There is a price to pay for success.
I'm gonna say she gets hurt. That Yolanda gets hurt.
Yep.
Okay. I need you to roll to brace yourself, and you have 2 conditions marked, so you'll be rolling 2d8.
Woohoo!
Oh boy, oh boy.
I like that one also upgrades the dice.
Yep. Oh, that's the one I didn't want to roll high on, isn't it?
Yep. Did you roll
Yeah.
an above a 10?
I rolled a 10
Okay.
before
Oh,
any mods,
no.
so
On a
this
10.
is gonna be rough.
Choose one. Remove yourself from the situation, run away, pass out, etc. The situation around you becomes dramatically worse, either through major collateral damage, losing control of your abilities, or the worst person possible arrives. Or select 2 options from the 7 to 9 table.
You meant to do that, though.
You meant to do that.
I'm gonna say. I know exactly which one is perfect for this. Remove yourself from the situation. I think it's because the scene I'm imagining for this in terms of the strain, if this went awry, I had the perfect one. I was imagining the emotional equivalent of like Spider-Man 2 when he's like literally pulling on the train to get it to stop, and like, but it's her. And it's all like the very like molecules of her body look like they're straining and starting to split apart.
Okay. So, you cast this dart and it rewrites the rune in controlling this construct, right?
That was the hope.
And it drains you a lot. And suddenly you find yourself not here. You find yourself in a place you haven't been in months. You've only been in once in your life, and you hoped you would never be back here.
Great.
You,
Woodfield roll cost. This is great.
you find yourself in an empty plain. An empty plain with sky and wind and clouds. And a voice. A voice that you could never forget. The voice that punched your soul.
Oh, fuck me. Oh, god damn it.
And it simply says, "You're rather bold to attempt to rewrite another being's soul. I'm surprised you'd want anyone else to go through that. Maybe you'd like a repeat experience." And with that, oh good.
I think just the last thing you hear from her in that moment is just like, well, when you don't think about anyone but yourself, I'm sure that would be a surprise to you. She's panicking so much.
You do not interest me. Begone. And drained, you return to your body. Promptly pass out.
Oh, that's so cool.
And, however, you do manage to free it. So, with it freed, its hand, its grip on the sword loosens, and it drops the blade. And it looks up, and there is relief in its eyes. And then you all hear a voice. But please, don't hurt it anymore. I think you stop. It didn't mean to hurt anyone.
Hello?
And you turn around and see. I have to choose a creature. What is a fun anthropomorphic creature?
Salamander.
I was gonna say badger mole.
Okay, Alex, you have bias. You don't get to say that. No.
That's fair.
Badger wolf. I like badger wolf. So, the little badger wolf, and walks up. Please, if it would look the rune. It's no longer glowing. It's free. You don't have to hurt it anymore. And it like puts. And this creature, they step out in front and put themselves in front of the construct and like do the arms wide out to like keep it safe. And you realize this badger wolf is like 2 feet tall. They're very clearly built. They're very clearly a child badger wolf.
Mm-hmm. You hear the wham wham of Tamal dropping both of her hammers to the ground. And she says, "Don't worry, little one." And I sort of like kneel down to get closer to their level. I mean, it doesn't work because I'm still like really big,
You're
but I'm a
so
little
tall.
closer, right?
Yeah.
And I say, "Do you know our friend here?"
Mm-hmm. We're from the same place.
Where's
And-
that?
As you ask that, you feel a warmth coming off this child. A warmth that you are most used to experiencing from within yourself. The warmth of one of your hearths. And you realize that this child is a construct, but that can perfectly pass as an organic being.
Whoa.
And that is where we'll end the session.
But I love them.
That's so
I
cool.
want to be their friend.
Yay.
Ah.
All right. Well, that was the first session of Cape and Blade Season 2. If you are excited to find out where these construct shenanigans are going, stick around. And I have been your host and game master and co-designer, Hamra Imraz. I will do my full send-offs at the end. But first, to our wonderful keep wielders and blade wearers. Angela, you go ahead.
Don't mind me. I'm just externally exclaiming very excessive emotions of hi. I'm yes, that's the correct way of putting it. I have no other words. Hello, I'm Angela, otherwise known as Phoenix24Fem on Twitter or the Philosophem over on Patreon. If we're doing the full plugs for everything and all that, uh, you can find me over on Patreon where I'm a professional poet. Where I have, as of this past Monday, 176 poems available for viewing, half of which are public, the other ones are patron locked. I am one half of the Queerly Yours Relationship podcast, which is me and my partner of 9+ years talking about various things related to relationships. We just finished an episode talking about top surgery and aftercare and relationships. And I'm also very blessed to, over on Off the Table, starting this Friday, going to be the GM for a Slayers RPG campaign that's going to be happening bi-weekly in another world I've created of my own doing, with a lot of help from the players a lot more this time around, called Janus, the City of Rebirth. So yeah, think Bloodborne meets Inception meets Final Fantasy X themes, and a little bit of Dark Souls 3 and Orlando in terms of aesthetics. But yeah, that's me, and I'm also a writer for the QTPOC online publication Art for Ourselves, and also a regular over on All Nerds Here, where on Sundays I am part of the crew playing Sunset Street Plays for the Dungeon, where I play a little weather spirit, and also we use puppets. Or I'm sorry, puppets, because we cannot use the M word. We're not allowed to use that word. So that's me. I do a lot of things. Someone else take the wheel while I go scream.
All right, I'll pass on to our Gallivanderer.
Hello, I'm Morgan. I'm Magpie Mirror Test in most places on the internet. You can find me on Twitter at magpie_mirror. I'm also a game designer. You can find my games at nestedgames.itch.io. I'm not particularly up to much lately, to be honest. But follow me, and I'll make sure to mention whenever I'm up to something. Hopefully, some of the games I'm working on will pan out to something publishable. Woo!
Awesome, awesome. And the wonderful voice behind Tamal, Alex.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex. You can find me at a Fractal Dragon on Twitter or fractaldragon.itch.io, where I design games. I am also on the wonderful, also all BIMPOC stream for Corazon Station, where we're playing Pasión de las Pasiones meets Deep Space Nine, Wednesdays on All Nerds Here. Really fantastic crew for that. I am also on the Forever GM podcast, where we are currently playing End of the World and dealing with horrifying multi-eyed angel wolf things. They're great.
Hell yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. And finally, the voice behind not one but two characters. B.
Hello, hello. I have been B Zelda, and I do a heckin' ton. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at B_Zelda. Traditionally on Tuesdays, you can find me on the Roll20 channel, where I am either running games, or this week we will have Jess Go_JG running the Excellence. No, she's going to be running Companion's Tale, which looks really cool. So definitely check that out on Tuesday and hang out with me in the chat. On Wednesdays, I am on the Salty Sweet channel playing Burn Bright, where I embodied 100,000 bugs in the shape of a wallaby. On Fridays, you can catch me here playing ON8. And a little bit later than that, I will be playing on the Nomadic channel, where I am a bear in space. On Sundays, early on in the daytime, I am on the Kobold Press channel, where I am playing a fashionable minotaur whose only ideal is to get his labyrinth featured on Fantasy HGTV. And after that, you can catch me on Q Times, where I play a robot alien who has an obsession / prime directive with plants, but so many things have gone awry, and nothing but chaos and superheroes. So yeah, come check out everything I do, and I do so much more. So give me a follow. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, and I, as mentioned before, I'm Ramirez. Besides being one of the co-designers for this game, which should hopefully be in a playtestable state for all of you soon enough. You can also hear my voice on the Music Fears podcast. We are coming out with season 2 soon enough, and there will be a one shot for you to listen to and before then to meet our new cast. There's already an AMA in the works for you to hear and get introduced to all the wonderful new voices. You can also hear me guesting on random spots, like a guest episode on Protean City Comics. You can also hear Alex guesting on a different run. Maybe one day we'll guest together. Putting
I
it out of
hope
the
so.
world. Where else? Yeah, and I also do over game design and freelance writing. That's it. A lot of projects in the work. Not too much to talk about at this time, but yeah. That's it. And with that, I have nothing else to say, but I hope you all have a wonderful time. Thank you for joining us. And remember, next time you show up, capes are mandatory. Bye!